justice and peace and equality.
Game Changers Media Network, Game Changers Magazine, Voices of the Village podcast, and we are back with Miss Victoria Mylan. Mylan. How you doing today, Victoria?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for letting me be here.
Awesome. The native, homegrown Locust Grove, Miss Locust Grove,
yes.
Right? All right. So you're doing so many phenomenal things in the community. Heard so much about you. Your platform is phenomenal. Tell us, who is Victoria Mylan?
Well, my name is Victoria Mylan. I'm 15 years old, and I'm currently Miss Locust Grove, okay. Miss Georgia's Junior National Teenager and America's National Teenager. And I'm so excited to be here. A little bit about me is I love to sing, I love to act, and what started me in pageantry was all about service.
Okay.
One thing that's so important to me is that I want to connect with everyone who I encounter. So I'm doing a lot of community service every Saturday or every weekend and every month. I'm making sure that I'm making an impact in my community, and that's very important to me.
Awesome. And for sure you are making an impact in your community. I've seen you live doing your community service in parades, participating in give-backs, school give-backs, right there in, I believe, I forget what park it was in Locust Grove.
Claude Gray Park.
Thank you. And you were handing out book bags, kind of like it was a back-to-school giveaway. What does it mean to you to be able to provide silver service to your community and be an asset to your community in that fashion?
I think it's very important to give back to my community. I feel like we don't see a lot of young people doing that, and I feel like it's important because when I give back, not only am I helping others, but it allows more people to see that even girls in pageantry, it's not all about how we look, it's about what we're doing for our community and what we're doing in the world.
Absolutely. Now, are you a homegrown Locust Grove native? Or?
No, I'm originally from Texas. I moved to Georgia when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now, at what age did you get started in the pageantry, in the being Miss Locust Grove, being Miss Junior National Georgia? Like, what age did all this start?
So, 14 years old. So, I'm currently 15 years old. So,
okay.
I'm going to turn 16 next month on April 14th. But I am 15 years old right now. And what started my pageant journey was a letter in the mail.
Oh, wow.
I always knew that I wanted to do a pageant, but I never really knew anything about it.
Okay.
You just see toddlers and tiaras and you think, oh, that's all that is. But we got a letter in the mail saying, based off of my grades and how I performed academically, that I was recommended to be in the National American Miss pageant.
Okay.
So my mom has surprised me. We came to an open call, and basically they interview you to see if they even want you to be in their state pageant.
Okay.
From there, I was selected as a state finalist and started my journey on to Miss Georgia's National American Miss pageant. I ended up making top 5 at the pageant, and that's when I really realized, oh, this is something that I really want to do.
Right. Now, I mean, many young girls, 14 to 15-year-olds, they're in their room playing on their phone. They're kind of texting between their friends. I mean, how did mom play a role in this? Because mom had to provide some type of motivation here to kind of get you going.
So my mom is a single mother, so shout out to all the single parents out there.
Shout out.
But my mom, anything that I want to do, she not only funds, but she believes in me, and that's why I'm here today.
Okay.
And so from the moment of I made GoFundMes to fundraise so I could pay for all the pageant fees.
Oh, wow.
And just even my dress. The first year I competed, I just did it for fun. I got my dress from the Goodwill.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
We went and got it touched up, got it cleaned, added some things to it, but I made top 5 in a Goodwill dress.
Man, get out of here. So you didn't have to go shopping and get $1,000 dress?
I really didn't.
Wow.
And that's what I love about pageantry. People don't understand this, but we have to interview.
Okay.
There's an interview process. It's about 7 or 8 judges, and we go in a round robin interview, and so we get at least 3 minutes with each judge. We have to present our resume. They ask us questions from our resume, and then they teach us during the boot camps like how you sit, how do you talk, how you engage with the people.
Right. So now you're 14 when you started this, right?
Yes.
All right. So I know one of the biggest things that a lot of young African American girls deal with is self-esteem. right? And you know, mom and everybody, family is telling us, "Oh, you're so pretty, you're so smart." But when you step out in the real world, it's a little bit harsher, right?
Definitely.
Right? What are some of the obstacles you had to face in kind of building your confidence to get you to, you know, be you at that grand stage?
So when I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with uveitis.
Oh wow.
And it's an eye condition where your brain cannot recognize your eyes and your body starts attacking themselves, the eyes. And so when I was 11, I had to get so much blood work done, go to doctor after doctor. You know, I had to go through surgeries, all type of things, taking medicine, injecting myself pills after pills. And so it took a toll on my self-esteem because not only was I having to do my schoolwork and trying to be a normal kid, but I also had to deal with this eye condition, and then it took a long toll on my family too.
Okay.
And so I created my platform called Girl Yes You Can.
Wow, I heard a lot about Girl Yes You Can.
Yes.
Okay.
So I created this to inspire more young people that no matter what you're going through, no matter what adversities you're facing in life, that girl, yes, you can. And it's very true to my heart because how I was feeling when I was 11 getting diagnosed with uveitis and then bringing it into moving to Georgia and going to a whole different environment in a high school setting where not everybody is nice to you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I went through a lot of bullying last year, my very first year of high school in the 9th grade, just because I got a role. And I played Matilda in Matilda the musical.
Oh, wow.
And getting bullied because I was a freshman. So Girl Yes You Can means a lot to me, and I feel like it will mean a lot to any girl who's going through anything and feels like maybe I can't, but girl, yes you can, and that's what my platform is all about.
That's what your platform is all about. Now, we going back to bullying, and bullying in schools, it's kind of different than it was from when I was growing up. It was more like somebody said something about you, they put you in a corner. But now we have a thing where people being bullied over the internet.
Yes.
And it's kind of like if someone says something about you, it's all over the internet. And then you have to, it's almost like a peer pressure to immediately respond. Mm-hmm. Tell us how did that make you feel and how did you respond when that bullying came into point and keep you in a positive road and moving forward?
Well, one thing that I feel is important is people can say whatever they want to say about you, but I know who I am.
That's right.
And so I'm confident in myself. And so for me, getting bullied over a role in my play was just, well, I'm just going to show you why I got this role.
Okay.
And so everything that I do is important to myself, and I see that makes the bigger impact. When you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody has to say about you. It's important to just know who you are.
Awesome. Now, I believe you're also on the cheerleading team at your school. You're not on the cheerleading team?
No.
Okay, it's some team, I believe one of my representatives was telling me you're a part of, but I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
So what other activities are you doing in high school outside of pageantry?
Well, I'm the vice president of my school's STEM team.
Okay.
I'm a part of the International Thespian Honor Society, so that's based off of your acting and musical theater. So if you want to talk about a team, I do a lot of musical theater.
Okay. Awesome. Now, going back to Girl Yes You Can. Now, young girls out there, they're looking at you today. You had a powerful motto that you gave. Mm-hmm. And what was that motto that you gave in your Girl Yes You Can speech?
That you can always be authentically yourself no matter what adversities are coming your way.
How did that come about?
So like I said, going back to being diagnosed with uveitis, and then every day at school you're faced with challenges, whether it's from your peers or it's from how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to be dressing. Social media plays a key role in that too. That's why I make sure that all my social media is positive and that I'm showing young people myself out in the real world, giving back to my community.
Exactly. Now, what advice would you give to those young girls out there who are looking at the girls on TV? They're saying, oh, I gotta lose weight, I gotta do this, the boys gotta say something to me. I'm not, what advice would you give them?
To always be authentically themselves, to believe in themselves, that you don't have to change yourself for anybody. It's so important to believe in yourself because we're being faced with how we're supposed to look based off of social media, or how this person says we look, or I see it every day where people talk about each other. But it's important to know that you are enough. you are more than enough. And I remember when I was competing at nationals as Miss Georgia's national teenager, one of my questions, my onstage question, like when they narrow it down, my final question was about my platform, Girl Yes You Can. And I told them that during my year of reign, I want to create a conference for more girls to know that they can be authentically themselves and call it the Girl Yes You Can Conference, where we're going over all the key tools that we need to gain confidence. So I want to encourage you all, young ladies, to stay confident in who you are.
Man, that is awesome. We got Victoria Mylan
Yes.
in the building, man, and she's dropping some jewels for us, for the young girls, for the next generation, our next generation leaders. You guys, we're going to have to go to a commercial break, so you stay tuned. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation. Ease up.
At Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology, our business is your health. Dr. Ronald S. Watts and his staff are dedicated to the pillars of quality health, such as equity, effectiveness, efficiency, integration, safety, timeliness, and people-centeredness. Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology specializes in the evaluation and treatment of diabetes and endocrine disorders. Thyroid, neck and parathyroid gland ultrasound examinations, and vascular examination for peripheral artery disease are just some of the services that Dr. Ronald S. Watts and his staff provide. Looking for treatment? We are currently accepting new patients. Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology accepts all major insurance. Give us a call at 770-389-9494 or visit us at 550 Eagles Landing Parkway, Suite 110, Stockbridge, Georgia. Eagles Landing Diabetes and Endocrinology. Our business is your health. Visit us at eldiabetes.org.
At White Card Realtors Prestige Partners, we pride ourselves on providing solid, enduring results. Ingrained in every aspect of our organization, our goal is to provide a people-first culture, developing long-lasting partnerships throughout the community. White Card brings nothing less than the best selections for residential and commercial properties, serving Henry County and surrounding areas, with the opening of our new South Atlanta office located at 1100 Eagles Landing Parkway, Suite A in Stockbridge, Georgia. Visit us online at wrprestige.com for more information and listings, or call us today at 404-437-6297 to book your appointment with one of our qualified agents. Follow us on all social media platforms, WR Prestige ATL, for up-to-date info and open house dates for select specials just for you. Hashtag the White Card Way.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, and we're back with Miss Victoria Mylan, Miss Locust Grove, Miss Junior National Georgia, Miss Junior National, all of that. I mean, she's gone global with this thing, man. And we were talking about your platform, Girl Yes You Can.
Yes.
Phenomenal platform. I forgot, how can people support that platform?
So if you follow me on Instagram at I am Victoria Mylan, I'm coming out with dates for my future conference, which I'm hoping to be in May, and it's for all young girls, personally 5th graders all the way to the ages of 19, and it's going over everything that you need to know to be confident yourself.
That is awesome, man. I'm going to make sure we get that support out there, make sure people understand what's going on, and push this thing to the max. Now, you got some big things going on. Yes. Outside of your nonprofit and your civil service things that you do, and what sparked your career in acting?
So I've always sang. I used to sing and travel at different churches when I was young, when I was as young as 5 years old. Mm-hmm. And I was always on the chorus and choir, so really I just loved to sing. But when I moved to Georgia at 12 years old, that's what really started my acting.
Okay.
My friend was like, hey, Victoria, we're having this musical, Moana the musical at school. You should audition. And so I was like, okay, maybe I can be a flower or something. So I decided to audition for Moana. I love that movie. You know, everybody knows the song How Far I'll Go from Disney's Moana the musical. So I decided to audition. So I worked really, really hard. My little sister auditioned too for the crab in Moana. You know, I went in there, I auditioned, I sang the song, and I ended up getting the lead role in Moana the musical. Yes.
Oh, wow. I mean, lead role?
Yes.
So you knocked it out the park.
Yes, I really did. And if that hadn't happened, I don't think my acting would have taken off.
Okay. What gave you, what was it, the Girl Yes You Can, that gave you the confidence to get on stage? Because I know, like, even as an adult, and I mean, me being a former, performer myself, you kind of get jittery before you get on that stage. I mean, so tell us how are you feeling? Was it bubbly? I mean, does something kind of unveil when the lights go on and the curtains come up?
When I was younger and I used to sing, I used to have no fear.
Okay.
I would want to go up there. When I started becoming a teenager, that's when the sort of awkwardness started coming into place.
Right.
But I do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shit. And then of course I pray. I pray to Jesus.
That's right.
I might have a cast member pray with me, or I'll call my mom, because my mom's my biggest supporter. But I make sure that I pray. And when you go out there on these stages, something that somebody else might not realize is that the lights are so bright, you can really only see the first row.
Oh, wow.
And so once you get passed over like, oh, the first row is there, because we've practiced and I know my things, I become that character. So now I'm not Victoria anymore. I'm Moana, or I'm Matilda, or I'm Dorothy. So
and that's phenomenal. And what were some of your biggest challenges, navigating through the industry? Because I know that acting, especially, we hear the stories all over the internet when kids get into acting at an early age, and a lot of things, it's a lot of peer pressure, it's a lot of challenges, it's a lot of hurdles for young people getting into the acting industry. What were some of those things that kind of were a hurdle for you?
So just going back to not listening to what everybody has to say about you, because it's very competitive. Acting, because there's only a certain amount of roles. So everybody's kind of competing against each other in a sense. So you really just have to be confident in yourself. And one thing that my directors will say about me is that I'm very professional.
Okay.
So even when I'm at practice, I might not be in everybody's face talking, because I'm sitting there trying to learn my script, or I'm going over my song, over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so you were also chosen to go to the New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
It was a New York Fashion Week? Okay, tell us about New York Fashion Week, and like, how did you get involved with that? What was, did it stem from your nonprofit? Did it stem from your acting? I mean, how did you land on New York Fashion Week?
So New York Fashion Week was so much fun. I went in February, and this was actually a part of my prize package as America's National Teenager.
Okay.
And as the junior teen for this scholarship organization, I was able to go to New York Fashion Week and model for Charging Couture USA. And they make the most beautiful dresses, gowns, activewear. And so I went there, and I also modeled for Supermodels Unlimited magazine as well.
Oh, wow.
So I will be in that magazine, and it was lots of fun, but it was also very, very cold. I was out there in the snow.
Okay.
Modeling in my outfits, with my crown and sash on, giving different looks for the magazine. But it was lots and lots of fun.
It was lots and lots of fun. Okay, man, that is awesome, man. It seems like you're moving and shaking at an early age. That's phenomenal. You're active. You're a leader in your school. You're a leader in your profession, and you're a leader of vision. Okay, so what advice would you give anyone or trying to break into the acting and the modeling, industry?
The advice
not modeling, but acting and theater industry. I'm sorry.
Okay. So the advice I would give for theater is look into your local community theaters. I actually just finished playing Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and that wasn't at school. I actually branched out and decided to travel a little bit, and I ended up getting the lead role in a theater company. So I would just say, have a song that you can know, that can stay in the back of your head, just in case if somebody on the street asks you, hey, can you sing this song, that you're prepared.
Whoa, hold on. You just said you got the lead role in the Dorothy.
Yeah, in Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
I mean, we all grew up on the Wizard of Oz. How did you land the lead role as Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz?
Okay, so I had auditioned for my school's play, and I ended up not getting the role that I wanted. But then my mom had told me, maybe there's something else out there for you.
Right.
And then this is another thing of advice. The role I was auditioning for, I'm a soprano. The person they needed was an alto. I'm also, petite. So they needed like a tomboy, tall person. So sometimes you need to go for the role that best suits you.
Okay.
Just some advice. But my mom was like, maybe there's something out there for you. And I love my mom because not only is she saying that, she's acting upon it. And so she actually found that they were auditioning for The Wizard of Oz at this theater company. So we didn't even have a real conversation about it. She just told me about it, and I just decided to listen to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I was just listening to it over and over again, throughout my day when I was at school. And the audition day comes around, it's like a Saturday morning, and I wake my mom up, and I'm saying, hey, Mom, can you take me to The Wizard of Oz? Can I audition? And she was like, sure. So within the matter of 30 minutes, we got on the road, and I went to audition, and I always think, like, what if my mom had said, no, I'm asleep?
Yeah.
Because I just came to her that Saturday morning and was like, hey, Mom, can we go audition? And she was like, sure.
See, and that's it's so important. Now, you have a single mother. So,
yes.
I mean, Mom is cooking, cleaning, making sure you get to school, making sure you're dressed, making sure you're okay spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. Mom is doing a lot.
Yes, she is.
Right? So, how important is it for parents to actually be active in their children's life, in their child's life, and push them and motivate them? Because if Mom didn't get up that day, none of this would have happened.
None of it would have happened. And the same thing for my pageantry. If my mom would have opened up that mail and been like, oh, no, she's not doing a pageant.
Yeah.
I would not be where I am today. So my mom believes in me, and she fights for me, and because of her, I have the confidence in myself that now I can have my own platform called Girl Yes You Can, and I can inspire more young girls, but it all stems from my mom believing in me.
Wow. Now, man, that is so phenomenal. That is so. Now you mentioned you had a birthday coming up. Shout out to the April babies. I'm an April baby myself.
Oh yeah.
Yes, April 20th. So it's our time.
April 14th.
yes. Now, but before we go to another commercial break, I gotta get one note out of you. Can we hear you sing one time?
Oh, okay.
All right, give us something.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true.
Man, y'all heard it. That's Victoria Mylan. The lead. Y'all ain't hear me, man. I said the lead role in Dorothy, Wizard of Oz, man. Thank you for that.
Thank you. We had 6 sold out shows, by the way.
6 sold out shows.
Yes.
Come on now. Come on now. You also, you were blowing up. And before I go to break, I got to mention this. You were blowing up the website. Good God. We posted a blog with you, And I mean, you almost hit, what, 1,000 views in one day?
Last time I checked, it was like 1,000. And it was funny because I didn't even know that you had made a blog. Okay. So I'm wondering, why are all these notifications going off on my phone? and then my mom had, we were just out running errands, me and my sister and my mom. And she's looking like, oh my God, these numbers are jumping.
Yes, these numbers are jumping. You guys make sure you go on voicesofthevillage.com and check out that blog from Victoria Mylan, man. We're going to be dropping the interview next week shortly, anytime soon. But we're going to be dropping that interview. But we got to go to another commercial break. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation. Ease up.
Are you experiencing neck or back pain, suffering from an auto injury, or recently hurt on the job? At HealthStar Atlanta, we provide relief. HealthStar Atlanta provides injury and wellness chiropractic service and is committed to serving the health and wellness of our patients. We specialize in treating disc injuries, neck and back pains, headaches, and more. Our goal is getting you back to normal, pain-free. We're located at 1404 South Lake Drive in Morrow, Georgia, minutes away from the South Lake Mall. Our staff is committed to your healing journey. Call us today at 678-545-1808. That's 678-545-1808. And book your next appointment with HealthStar Atlanta. You can visit us online at healthstaratlanta.com for more information, or follow us on all social media platforms at HealthStar Atlanta. HealthStar Atlanta, making the pain go away, removing the hurt so you can live, work, and play.
At ViStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. That's our focus. ViStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, and we are back with the phenomenon, the phenomenal hometown native, Miss Locust Grove. Y'all ain't heard me, man. I said Miss Locust Grove, Miss Junior National Georgia, Miss Junior National USA, all of that, man. I hope I got it right, but she's got a whole lot of title holders going on, man. That means she's got the belts around her waist and her shoulders. So, you guys, we got Victoria Mylan, the lead. I said the lead of Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. Man, that's such a phenomenal achievement, man. I mean, at 15, how does it feel? Because your mom and I, we grew up watching Dorothy. So what does that mean to you to be able to perform on a legendary stage like that?
It was incredible. I feel like Dorothy was definitely one of my dream roles to perform. So to perform it was such an incredible honor. And the story dates back so many years. So it was just an incredible experience. And when I was in the process of practicing, at my rehearsals, trying to prepare and give the best Dorothy that I possibly could, a lot of people don't realize how many underlying meanings are in The Wizard of Oz. Like in Over the Rainbow, my director had told me, like, people think it's a happy song. It's really not.
Oh, wow.
It's very depressing. So when I was singing that song, when I was performing it on stage, I had to think about sad times in my life so I could really connect with how Dorothy is feeling. I didn't realize how many times Dorothy cries in that musical. Just the whole musical in itself, you had to think about, her parents aren't listening to her when she's saying this evil lady is trying to take away her dog. She has no other friends. It's all her dog. Her dog gets taken away from her. Then she has to go into this whole different world, and all she wants to do is come back home. And at the end of the play, she realized that there's no place like home and that she had love the whole time. So it's like a coming back home type of musical, and a lot of the people said it almost felt spiritual to them. Just a coming back home type of thing. But I really had to connect and put myself in Dorothy's shoes, but not really. I had to think about how I would feel, and I had to think about sad moments in my life so I could really portray the character in the best way possible.
Oh, wow, man, that's phenomenal. So you kind of had to embody
I did,
who Dorothy was.
Because when she's singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I'm not thinking about trying to get to Oz. I'm sure other people aren't trying to get to Oz either, but they're thinking about maybe that bad doctor's report.
Yes.
Or they're thinking about, where they might live. So it's a lot of things that you have to think about as an actor so you can portray those emotions.
So, and with your own personal testimony of the things you went through when you were 11 years old, having to hear, hey, we hope the doctor report is good. So it kind of was transparent, like a real life situation.
Our last show, I went backstage after I sang that song because, she walks off, and I just started crying.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because I was like, okay, I really connected with that. And a lot of people, at the end, they were like, we cried during Over the Rainbow. Just so, like people were crying. And that's what I wanted, because I wanted people to feel connected. And while I was singing the song, they could think about, have hope. Because this is a very sad song, but it's also very hopeful, because she's trying to get to a place behind the sun where there's no troubles anymore.
That's right. I mean, hey, you nailed it on the head. Now, what we know about the acting, we know about the Yes You Can. What led you into pageants, like getting involved into the pageants and everything, and make you want? Because I believe the pageants kind of shaped. Was it the pageants that shaped everything else, the big platform?
Yes. Through pageantry, a lot of girls, or you'll see a lot of the winners, they'll have a personal platform. So that's how I created Girl Yes You Can.
Okay.
And something that I love about the organization that I am a national queen for is America's National Teenager Scholarship Organization, is because of their 4 pillars, which is scholarship, service, success, and style. And so upon my completion of RAIN, I will receive $1,500.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then in the pageant system, they have these things called optionals. So although you might not win your state or national title, there's other ways that you can walk away with some money.
Yes. Okay.
So I ended up winning actress and talent at the national pageant and walked away with $200 scholarships for those. And then also there was this thing called Anto for the Earth, and that's about who, out of all the girls, this is all the age divisions, because there's 5 different age divisions. Okay. Starting from as young as tweens to your Miss winners.
Okay.
And I ended up being selected as the winner, and basically this is based off of your community service.
Yes.
And what you're doing, all your outreach. So as a state title holder, just because it's me, I'm always out there. I just finished speaking at a local elementary school in Hampton about, my titles and Girl Yes You Can and inspiring young girls. So I'm always out there. I'm hitting these streets.
Right. You gotta hit the streets. You gotta hit the pavement and do the hard work. Now, going back, you said you were just in Hampton. Hampton was a career day.
Yes, it was career day.
All right. How did you feel speaking amongst your peers? Like, you're walking in your career and they're looking for a career.
Yes. They're so adorable. They'll be like, "Oh my gosh, it's the princess. Are you a princess?" And I'll be like, "Yes." let me just say, I loved speaking with the 5th graders in particular. Now, I talked to some 2nd graders, some 2nd grade classes, some 3rd graders, because they did like rotations. Okay. So I was able to speak to about 6 or 7 classes. But I love this one 5th grade class in particular, because this girl came up to me and she was like, why do people bully you, or why do people say mean things if Girl Yes You Can? And I was like, I encourage them that no matter what anybody says about you, says to you, that you can overcome and that you are enough.
Right.
And I really got to talk to them because I could talk to them on more of a deeper level, because they were very inspired and curious about it. And one of the girls were like, "You're such an inspiration." And we even filmed some TikToks, and I could tell that it really made their day. So I love speaking to young girls because I want them to see that they can too. Yes. It's not just, "Oh, Victoria can do this." So can you.
Absolutely. And it's good that you're inspiring. You're not just taking the high horse and saying, "Hey, I'm here, you're there." Mm-hmm. It's like you're being a positive role model. You're trying to bring people up with you.
Yes, definitely.
Right. And sometimes when we're bringing people up with this, it's kind of like a stubbornness there, because it's like, I don't even want to try. Mm-hmm. So how did pageantry and all of the great things you're doing shape you into who you are today?
It definitely helped build my confidence. speaking. There's a personal introduction part of pageantry where you write a speech about yourself. There's also an optional called spokesmodel, and that's where I could really give the facts and raise awareness about uveitis, which is an eye condition that I have. Through interview, I've been able to learn how to interview. So now when it's time to present in class, I'm eager to do it. I'm confident in myself, and I'm able to go up there and speak to my whole class. I actually do the announcements at my school every morning. So it helped build my confidence, and now, like, it's just certain things that might bother certain people or some people my age that really don't bother me anymore because, like I said, I know who I am.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter what happens. I know who I am, and I know who I am in Christ.
Man, you better say it, girl. You better say it. Before we go, we want to know, so we know this area is about community outreach. Mm-hmm. It's about touching people and helping people, lifting someone up. And with all the things that you're doing with the singing and the pageantry and the acting, like what are you passionate about when it comes to serving and doing your community outreach and just being out there for the people?
I feel like people need to see this.
Okay.
Because it's inspiring to know that not only are we out there, we're out there for you.
Right.
You know, and I want to impact as many lives as I can, not only with these national and state titles, but also just as Victoria. You know, and you'll see me out there not just because it's something I have to do, because I really don't have to do it. It's because I love to.
Okay.
And so, Girl, Yes You Can, I want to inspire as many girls as I can, and I want this to be something that follows me as I get older and even become an adult, and maybe one day have my own way of giving out scholarships to girls like myself or young girls. And it might be hard sometimes battling school and all my outreach, but I make sure that I am mature and that I'm responsible. I have a 4.0 GPA, and I'm a part of so many different, I could sit here and list all of them, but National Beta Club, International Thespian Honor Society, National Society for High School Scholars, you know, just I'm a part of a lot of different things at my school, and I make good grades, but that's because of the person I have had in my life being my mom, believing in me, pushing me, and helping me to become the person that I am. So,
right, that is so important, to bringing home those A's and B's, but you know, parents play a pivotal role.
They do. They really do.
And I can say it firsthand. I don't argue. A lot of people like to put it on the teachers, but it's what happens at home first.
It is.
What happens at home first. And so going back, also before we go, we want to talk about your faith.
Yes.
Jesus, you're an advocate. You're an advocate for Christ. Mm-hmm. How has that molded your career? How has your faith played a role in making you achieve the milestones that you've achieved?
Yes. Well, I grew up in church. Like I said, I was growing up singing and traveling at different churches. But I feel like God has had to play a huge role in my life when I turned into a teenager and moving to Georgia. A lot of things happened in my personal life with my family, my parents going through a divorce. So it was a time in my life where I had to lean on God for faith, and I had to pray for my family, pray for my sister, and just believe in God. And before I compete in any pageant, before I do anything, even coming here, I prayed.
Wow.
Because I have faith.
Man, it's something, because it's like the last 4 interviews we've had, I mean, everything has been faith-based aligned.
Yes.
And it's something is moving, and I believe a shift is actually happening right now in the world.
Well, let me tell you about God, because, okay, let me tell you. So, if you can see right here, this is my Georgia's National Teenager sash right there.
Okay.
And I had competed at National American Miss, and I had worked so hard because, like I said, I made top 5. So I had worked so hard that whole year, practiced and practiced and practiced. And I got there and made top 10. And then I was told my interview score was perfect, a 9 out of 9. Wow. My personal introduction was like 8.8 or 8.9 out of 9. And then my formal wear score was an 8. out of 9.
Wow.
And they told me it was because of the hoop skirt I had underneath my dress, which I didn't even know about, because a lot of people get coached and things like that. I was just going in there without a coach. So those little details is what knocked me away from that crown. And I remember crying after, because I didn't understand. It wasn't because I didn't know that I was beautiful, because I know that I'm beautiful, and I know that I worked hard, and I know that I made a connection, and I was able to raise awareness about uveitis. So I knew that I hadn't walked away empty-handed.
Right.
You know, I won the actors competition, but it was like something doesn't feel right, and then finding out that it was the skirt underneath my dress, which was why I got deducted those points. And I was reached out by our national director, Wendy Martin, about America's National Teenager Scholarship Organization.
Okay.
And I was interviewed, ended up competing and winning Miss Georgia's National Teenager, and actually getting a scholarship to go and compete for nationals, where I competed against all the other girls, you know, from all different states.
Right.
All 50 states, and ended up winning. So I just want to show you that just because one door closes doesn't mean another door can't open. And I love America's National Teenager Scholarship Organization because what it stands for, the success, the service, being in your community. And I love representing this amazing organization. So it just goes to show, just because one door closes, another door can open, but that's all because of God and just knowing that Jesus has something better for me.
Man, phenomenal story, phenomenal personality, phenomenal character, contributed to Mom. I'm giving 100% of the credit to God and Mom.
Yes.
You know,
God and Mom are a team.
they've been doing it together. They've been working some things. You know?
Yes, even with The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Not getting the part in my school play, but my mom finding this play out. Us having a short conversation, not even really thinking about it. And then I went in to a place where people I didn't even know, and ended up getting the lead role.
Awesome.
It's just God redirecting. Rejection is redirection.
Man, you better say it. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our next generation leaders. Leaders of today, not leaders of tomorrow, because it's we're passing the torch now. I don't know what the last generation did, but our generation, the generation that I'm in, we're passing the torch now because we understand the value of our youth. Mm-hmm. We understand that we must pour into you guys early and make sure that you guys it takes a village. Yeah. It takes a village. And anything you would like to say before we leave, anything you would like to leave with our audience, and what would you like to put out there?
I would like to say thank you so much for having me, of course.
Thank you.
And remember, girl, yes, you can.
Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast. And this was our episode with
justice and peace and equality. That the world they will see. That's why we